Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. There are quite a few hits in the discography of Korg instruments. The early bangers, the Don't Fear the Roland phase, the Undead Evergreen and the compilation album that lets us explore our inner self. Today we are going to talk about the Drumlogue. This brand new and much anticipated digital analog drum machine is Korg's attempt to keep up with the competition of upscale next level RT FM instruments. It was first announced over 2 years ago, written off as vaporware and finally released to a storm of controversy only true direct-to-Bad Gear releases can stir up. At the first glance, the Drumlogue is ticking all the synth memes Photoshop mockup boxes. 100% wobble-free knobs, and encoders, live in an unholy alliance with Walker-style tweak thingies, non-velocity sensitive sequencer buttons, and mostly illegible labeling next to even smaller buttons for navigating the UI. In spite of the inviting array of hands-on controls, you will be staring at the screen a lot while diving the hell out of the machine's menus. The marketing-friendly analog sounds of the Drumlogue are based on primitive and fuzzy-sounding oscillator envelope combinations, which are pimped to modern standards by adding a rather limited selection of what I assume are digital tone components, mostly for the initial stage of the drum hit. Punchy kick attacks, noises, and Roland TR fragments for the snare, and short impulses giving the toms meaning. While the dedicated knobs are much appreciated, you will have to consult the menus for many essential parameters like the low pass, high pass, reminiscent of a DJ filter. 6 digital sounds are based on either Electro 2-like internal samples, or one taken from your own library and loaded into the disappointingly small 32 MB memory. In its current state, the machine can't be used for sampling. Samples can be modified with the aforementioned filter and envelopes tailored for different percussion sounds, which are a little too limited for my taste and don't allow for proper playback of longer audio files like loops. In addition to the drive parameter also found on the analog tones, the samples can be put through the digital lo-fi ringer with a Redux parameter. I had hoped for digital drum synth goodness in the tradition of the Electro ER1 or Walker drum, and although Korg included synthesis capabilities, I found them to be somewhat lackluster. A simple 3-parameter FM drum sound generator, filtered noise, and a single slot for plugin-like third-party engines currently populated by a VA synth by Sinevibes. Fans of the Prologue/Minilogue XD/NTS1 might be looking forward to loading their SDKs into the machine, but while quite similar in architecture, these are not compatible with the Drumlogue. Keep in mind that you can't use the 3 multi-engines at the same time. There's a utilitarian FX section with delay and reverb. On FX Sense, the inevitable sidechain functionality, and a master bus sound destruction unit. If these FX don't do the trick for you, the machine offers 6 audio outputs with versatile routing options. Nice. Korg tried very hard to implement features known from workflow-oriented machines of Scandinavian descent. It goes without saying that motion recording lets you add movement and tonality to patterns of the 64-step sequencer, but Korg's take on probability, Ratchets, and alternate come pretty close to the Swedish original, although the Drumlogue can act as a USB host for MIDI controllers and keyboards. Handling of tonal parts is not ideal. Sure, you can play and record melodies via MIDI, or enter them manually using Motion. But I was missing the elegance and versatility I would expect from the centerpiece of a setup. Maybe future firmware updates will change that. What else? Loop mode for fills and variations. Pattern chaining, functional kit and pattern management. MIDI leaves room for improvement, but there is analog sync and computer integration via USB. In order to stay afloat in this competitive market, Korg is selling Drumlogues for the reasonable price of $299 Euro/pound. Just kidding, it's around $600 and therefore almost in Roland TR8S territory. Thanks to local music tech retailer Klangfarbe for lending me one of their floor models. Korg's Drumlogue is a long-awaited instrument that came with a big promise. Is it able to keep it, or is it just too little too late? You have already heard the drum machine in today's intro tune. That didn't work out so well, for a list of reasons. Let's focus on its strength in a groovebox like Jam. That's much better. The internal synth is no Model D, but it's okay for a little melodic touch, and there might be other varieties in the future. Well, hope dies last. As much as I like the workflow for basic beat creation, implementing tonal elements can be tedious. Time to add a mono synth and some external effects. There's a lot to unpack here. Although I appreciate the multiple outputs, the high output levels make gain staging harder than it should be. What is more, the analog drums don't take external processing as well as I had hoped for. An implementation of the VA synth is janky. The sound aesthetics of the Drumlogue seem a bit dusty by today's standards, but hey, isn't it time for a noughties revival after years of microwaved 90s cheese, deep minimal dub techno? The Drumlogue is an easy-to-use drum machine that comes with a lot of sounds reminiscent of Korg's heydays as a groove machine producer. It sits somewhere between the hands-on approach of a drum brute Impact and the Mariana Trench level depth of Elektron machines, but seems raw and unfinished, which is disconcerting in face of Korg's history of product abandonment. I don't know Korg's sales figures, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see Drumlogues actually go for $299 at blowout sales in the near future, which would be a pretty good deal. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.